There I was, worn out and exhausted. Nakahiga ako sa kama with my eyes wide open, looking up at the ceiling. 7 na ng umaga and I just pulled my 5th all-nighter, yet all I could think about was that epic win last night. Ouch! I could barely move. Namamanhid ng katawan ko at halos lahat sumasakit. All I could feel was the pain and cramps in my body. But at the same time, I was already mentally planning how I could make it to the next level in my game. It has been 5 years since my father gave me a PlayStation and football game to go with it. Nag-divorce ang parents ko 2 years earlier. They argued a lot and I heard them screaming at each other often when I was in bed trying to sleep. I'd bury myself into my pillows and wait anxiously until the screaming stopped, which would only happen when my dad stormed out the house. I am an only child, and so during the weekdays, I would live with my mother, and every other weekend, I would visit my father in a city 2 hours away. Nagtatrabaho siya sa isang security company and therefore often had to work the night shift. Madalas umuwi siya ng 6 o'clock ng umaga and would sleep in till 12 in the afternoon before we could even spend time together. I didn't have any friends in the area he lived in, and so it would get extremely boring without having anything to do or anyone to see. This all changed when I received my new game. It meant that I had an escape from reality, from my parents and school. I discovered quickly that I was really good, and my urge to become the best striker in the world kicked in. My mother was extremely unhappy with my new hobby. She would often say, "Put the damn controller away. Don't have any homework to do?" I noticed that I was spending more and more time gaming. Pero ano naman ngayon? Pupunta pa ako sa gym? I played football every Saturday with my team. School was going okay. Bumagsak ako sa 2 klase, but hey, the teacher said with a little more effort, I would be able to fix this. However, I kept getting better at the game. I was creating the best teams, selling players, mastered all the techniques, and was winning all the matches I played. Download ko yung games sa phone ko so that I could play during the breaks at school, and it also meant that I could secretly play in bed without my mother realizing. Did you not sleep well? Is a question she started asking me more frequently as I sat yawning at the breakfast table. Nalaman kong online gaming community through another player. Sa website nakalagay, "Welcome to the family for game addicts." The term addict made me laugh. Can't be that bad, I thought to myself. As time went on, I began meeting more players. Lahat sila had fake names tulad ng Orange 5, Alpha, or Dylan Z. I decided to call myself Rome02, after the first 2 letters of my favorite footballers, Ronaldo and Messi, and the letter that I was born in. I loved meeting all these gamers. I'd never had so many friends before. We exchanged playing techniques and kept each other updated on the latest upgrades and trends in the gaming world. Eventually, I slowed down going to football as well as going to less training sessions and coming up with excuses not to play on Saturdays. Sinabi ko sa mami ko na marami akong ginagawa, but I could tell by her face that she knew I was lying. After failing to attend another training, the coach kicked me off the team. Wala akong pakialam. I was involved in much more exciting games with my friends online. Naglalaro ako ng ilang oras para ma-improve ang skills ko. May mga araw na pagod na ako pero yung pressure to continue playing kept mounting. The pressure from my mother to stop playing also grew. She started checking on me all the time, sometimes barging into my room without knocking, whilst I was in the midst of a game. We started arguing more and more. One day, she got called into school as my teachers expressed their concern for my distracted behavior and disappointing results. Suddenly, mas lalo ako nagkaroon ng maraming problema. Pera. Masyadong mahal ang gaming at kulang ang pocket money ko. I had already borrowed money to buy the latest PlayStation 4, but I needed more stuff like a special pair of gaming headphones and an upgraded charger for my controller. I had to find a job, but I didn't have the time. I was saying yes to every invitation to play with my online friends. I simply did not have time to work. I had to sell my bike as well as an expensive pair of Nikes to get by. One day, my mom caught me trying to take money from her wallet. She was furious and yelled, "What have I done to deserve this? Tumira ka na nga sa tatay mo, baka mas alam niya ang gagawin sa'yo." Kaya sa 17th birthday ko, I moved in with my father in a city where I knew no one and didn't want to know anyone. My dad encouraged me to start a course for computer design. He said, "Why not invest all this time spent gaming into something that you enjoy and something that will actually get you a job in the future?" Initially, this worked really well. I enjoyed the course and was going out with my peers quite regularly. One of the boys asked if I was interested in moving into a student house with all of them. Umuo ako kaagad. Buti na lang my dad was okay with it and he helped me move into my new room, not knowing all that lay waiting ahead. Nagsimula siya na parang wala lang. Yung isa sa mga housemates ko organized game night. Ayoko pumunta nung una pero pinilit ako ng mga ibang kasama ko, telling me to stop being a loser and to just come and have some fun. Nagsimula kami maglaro ng game na Fortnite. And when they asked me to log in, I impulsively used Rome02 as my player's name. We put on our headsets and began to watch our screens vigilantly. We were dropped on an island and we were given the task to eliminate all other players on the same island. The adrenaline kicked in as the play space started to shrink and our opponents were coming closer. It was clear that my talent hadn't disappeared. In final game, I was the last one standing against 4 other players. It was super intense, but with a bit of luck, I managed to beat the whole squad and earn my victory royale. I was the winner of the night. Kinabukasan, I woke up with the worst headache ever. Naglakad ako papunta sa fridge to try and find something to eat. But there was absolutely nothing. Looks like I had to make do with tea and biscuits. Back in my room, I opened up my computer and logged in. I couldn't stop thinking about how fun the game was. The next thing I knew, it was 4 in the afternoon. I hadn't been to college and I hadn't eaten anything. It was official. Hindi ko mapigilan ang gaming. The days, weeks, months that followed consisted of constant gaming. At one point, I played 2 weeks nonstop. I ignored my headaches and the pains in my shoulders, hands, and fingers. I was consumed by this game. I didn't have time for anyone or anything. Bumagsak ako sa exam ko. Nakick sa course na pinag-aralan ko and lost all my student finance. My housemates decided to give up my room to someone who would be more involved as a student. I had to leave, but where was there to go? My parents weren't an option. I was too scared to tell them about everything that had happened. I didn't have enough money to find a new room, and as I'd ruined any real friendships I had no one to turn to anymore. It got to the point where I would spend the entire day gaming at an internet cafe. At sa gabi, matutulog ako sa kalye. I wanted nothing more than to go back to the time where I was living with my mom and when I was clean. Gusto ko maglaro ulit ng football at bumalik sa normal kong buhay. In all honesty, I just wanted to be a kid again. I was scrolling through the telephone numbers on my phone and came across the number of my old football coach, John. He had always been someone I could go to when my parents were fighting. He had been nice to me and listened when I was upset. Inisip ko siyang tawagan. Maaalala pa kaya niya ako? Patatawarin kaya niya ako? John speaking. His kind voice immediately comforted me. He was extremely straightforward. He told me, I can only help you if you promise me you are willing to give up gaming. And he continued, you have to tell your parents and allow them to be part of your recovery. 6 months na, pero kailangan ko pa rin bumisita sa rehabilitation clinic once a week na tumutulong sa mga tao na nahihirapan alisin ang kanilang addiction. Through the help I received here, I was able to overcome my addiction to gaming. The first month they had arranged that, I was still able to attend school during the day. Pero kailangan kong matulog sa clinic sa gabi. I was allowed 1 hour of supervised gaming, and as the days went on, this became less. I was also prescribed medication to try help me fight the constant urge to game. At the start of my recovery, it was extremely difficult and every day was a struggle. For the longest time, I had depended on gaming for my happiness, so when they took it away from me, I felt helpless, like a child whose favorite toy had been snatched away. It took months before I felt my depression started to go away and my self-control began to return. Narealize ko na I wasn't going to be someone that would be able to game once in a while, so I decided to stop entirely. Bumalik ako sa pagtira sa mom ko at nagsimula ulit ako maglaro ng football kasama ang old team ko. John lets me help him train the young kids of the football club. There are a lot of them that talk more about gaming than football. I hope I can help them so that they don't ever have to experience the same problems that I did.